So that was unexpected. I literally, like, I'm not kidding when I say that every part of the episode I didn't expect, like, basically everything. But with that said, hello everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to one of our weekly Jujutsu Kaisen discussion videos. Today we're talking all about episode 14? 14, yes, I think. The Kyoto Sister School Exchange Event Group Battle 0. But before we get into the video proper, quick reminder if you haven't done so yet to hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, set notifications to all, and let all of AniTube know that you're here. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dig into this week's episode. So I said that I didn't expect anything this week, and it's true, I really didn't, right? Like, everything that I thought was going to happen going into this week's episode was just blatantly not what happened, right? I'm going to admit something now, and some of you are going to be like, I can't believe you doubted the show. But I did, because after last week's arc, I was like, the last arc, since we took last week off, rightfully so, give the good folks at MAPPA a breather, you know, they totally deserved it. But after the crazy arc that we just went through, I had sort of assumed that this arc was going to be more of a wind down, you know, like a sort of calm after the insanity that was the last arc where we lost my boy Junpei. I'm still not over it, but, you know, I had assumed that we were going to be kind of chill for the next arc, you know, to have a breather. I think this episode was the breather, and then we're just getting into more insanity. Because, again, like, and listen, I should have known better. I accept that. But with a title like, oh, the Sister School Exchange Event, I had assumed, like, okay, so, like, not a lot's gonna happen, right? Like, not a lot of story progression. We're just gonna have some cool fights, maybe? No. I mean, we're probably gonna get cool fights. I think we're probably gonna get more cool fights than I even had anticipated, especially judging by the preview for next week. But I think for the most part, the story is very much progressing. I don't think we're taking a break. I don't think Itadori's... But at this rate, like, is Itadori ever gonna have, like, just a chill arc where, like, not a lot happens? Like, Itadori just, like, you know, goes and hangs out at, like, a cabin, has a rest, you know, meets up with the Yuru Camp cast. That'd be nice. I'd like that for him. I don't think that's gonna happen, but that'd be nice. Everything about this arc, or everything about this first episode, rather, of this arc, I had no way to prepare for it, because again, I thought it was gonna be chill, I thought it was gonna be slow, and I thought, like, the big heavy moment of the arc was just gonna be Itadori reuniting with Fushiguro and Kugisaki, and nope. Like, that's also, I have to say, like, my boy, and I'm probably gonna just keep the image of him looking happy up, because that's how I want to see my boy Itadori. But look at this man's face. Like, he was so excited to reunite with his friends, right? He was so hyped. I was hyped for him. Like, I was so excited, and then, nope, taken away. Just like that. My boy doesn't even get his big, like, I'm back! Hooray! moment, right? Like, he unveils himself from the box, and he's like, I'm back! Ta-da! Not dead! Right? But it goes about as well as Sherlock telling Watson that he's not dead. Because, yeah, Fushiguro and Kugisaki just, like, look more annoyed and mortified than they look happy to see him. Which I'm sure they were to some level, you know, like, because clearly, like, when Kugisaki walks up to him and Fushiguro walks up to him, and Kugisaki's clearly, like, kind of emotional, you know, like, she's a little, like, on some level, they're both happy, because, you know, like, that's their boy, but at the same time, they're like, what the hell, man? And I hadn't even really thought about it like that, where they're like, you were alive this whole time? We mourned you, dude. Like, we mourned you like you actually literally died. And you were alive this whole time? What were you doing, right? So I'm sure that, like, in fairness, he does explain, right? He does explain his predicament. But, you know, like, I get why they're mad. I do understand why they're upset. I don't necessarily blame them, and with the power of hindsight, yeah, they kind of have every right to be annoyed, and I don't know what the hell I was thinking where they were going to be like, oh, he's alive, yay! Like, of course they're going to be like, where the hell were you? You know what I mean? So, yeah, I actually kind of think this works better. Also, I want to talk about just Itadori blending in with the squad, right? We get that shot of them together at the end of the episode, and then Maki, I believe her name is Maki? Yeah, Maki, like, kicks him, and is like, why are you taking the lead? Like, what do you think you're doing, right? So I'm like, okay, he's already blending in quite well. And again, it's gonna take me a little bit to remember everybody's names. Forgive me, you guys know me, I'm terrible with names. That's why I give people nicknames all the time. I'm gonna stop doing that because I think it annoys some people. For the most part, I'll probably still give nicknames here and there, like, you know, when it feels appropriate. But yeah, Itadori pretty quickly blends in with the crew. And I'm happy to see it because, like, I was kind of nervous that maybe they would treat him like sort of an outsider, you know? And that doesn't seem to be the case. Like, Panda and everybody, I believe his name is Toge? Toge? T-O-G-E? Toge? Panda, Toge, and Maki all seem to get along with him relatively well, right? Like, Maki in particular kind of gets excited when Fushiguro says, like, if nobody's using cursed powers, like cursed abilities, then even if all of Kyoto charged at Itadori, he'd still win. The school, not the entire area, but yeah, like the school, right? Like if all of the Kyoto students charged at Itadori, he'd probably still win. So of course that's like, okay, right? Like she's sort of like, all right, this is intriguing, and she even fought Toto, so he knows how tough they are. So like, okay, that's interesting. And it's just sort of nice seeing the squad come together. What I really appreciate is that, first of all, they give Kugisaki the moment where she sort of has like the tears in her eyes when she sees him. She's pissed, but you can see that she obviously is a little bit relieved to know that he's okay. But Fushiguro even saying like, "What happened?" And Itadori's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." He's like, "No, don't lie to me. What happened?" Right? And he's like, "Okay, fair enough. Some stuff happened, but it just made me realize that I don't want to lose anybody." And then Fushiguro just fires back with like, "Cool, I don't want to lose either." And it's like, hell yeah, let's go. The squad forming together. You love to see it. I in hindsight, yeah, I think that this is the right way to go. But I do gotta say, I loved the reunion with Itadori and everybody. I thought it was done really well.
Hey, as you can see, we are in the Wastelands, which, judging by Dragon Ball Z, can only mean one thing. We are about to scrap. Unless you hit that subscribe button. Thank you.
But I do want to talk about something else. Not just the Itadori reveal, but also the Kyoto principal is, how you say this, an old fart, and I hope he croaks soon. Because, yeah, that man was like, when he's the only one who reacted to Itadori's return the way I thought he would. Right? Where he's like, huh? Like, how is he alive? And Gojo's like, yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? Right? Like, ooh, that's interesting. I thought you were gonna have a heart attack or something. I'm so glad you're okay. Right? And I'm like, Gojo, like my husbando Gojo, being like, yeah, that's right, bitch. I know what you're up to, and he's alive. Eat it, right? And so, like, of course, the Kyoto principal is like annoyed by this. And I assumed that that's where it was going to begin and end, right? That, like, he was going to be annoyed and then that was it. But no, because again, this arc is not playing out as this sort of chill but fun sort of, like, cross-school tournament like I thought it was going to be. And that we were just going to kind of chill on the whole, like, give Itadori a break and not have to have him worry about his friends or himself dying. But, no. Because the Kyoto principal, this old jerkwad, literally tells his students to kill another student. Literally tells them, kill Itadori. He is a bad time. And I already can see the comments. I can already see people doing the like, okay, but like, from his point of view, I don't care about his point of view. I'm not watching the show from the old man's point of view. I'm watching it from my point of view, and from my point of view, screw that guy. I want good things for Itadori, and he's getting in the way, so he's gotta die. Like, full stop. He's either gotta stop or he's gotta go. It's one or the other. And I love that a decent amount, I don't want to say all, but a decent amount of the Kyoto students, or at least faculty, are like, no. Right? They're like, that's weird and dark, and why? Right? The girl who was like fangirling over Gojo, our avatar within the series, rightfully reacts with like, this is weird. You know, she's like, her inner monologue is like, this is wrong. Like, this feels wrong. I don't like this. And oh my god, Toto's reaction is exactly what I wanted to see. Like, Toto's reaction of like, pass. Like, he just, like, punches the sliding door. He's like, no, pass. And the other student with, like, the long hair is like, oh, you can't leave. The principal's not done talking. I'm like, shut up, douche. Right? Like, Toto's right. Like, this is stupid. But then you find out Toto's like, oh, I don't actually care about what we're talking about. It's just my tall idol girl that I'm, like, in love with has a special on right now, and I want to go watch it when it airs. And the long-haired guy, by the way, I agree with Toto, where it's like, no, I want to see it when it airs. And he's like, you can record it. Not the same thing. You can watch it twice. I kind of agree with Toto on this one, where I'm like, yeah, no, I agree with Toto. Doesn't matter. When your show is on, you gotta go watch it as soon as it drops. Full stop. If you have the power to do that, unless something else is going on, if you have the power to do that, then go do it. Especially when the other option is listening to some old asshole tell you to kill some kid that he doesn't like because he has, like, concerns about it. Again, I understand that people are gonna be like, yeah, but he's like the vessel for Sukuna and he's scared that he's gonna release Sukuna, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. I promise you that I don't care. Like, I really promise you that I don't. Because at the end of the day, it's Itadori. You know what I mean? Like, it's our boy. I don't care what his line of logic is. Because that's our boy. And I don't want to see anything bad happen to the boy. You know what I mean? Can I understand? Does it make him compelling? Yes, of course it does, right? Like understanding why the antagonists are doing what they're doing is the sign of good writing. Because if you can make a antagonist, again, like the old fart or even the long-haired guy, Kano, I believe, or I think he's from the family Kano. Either way, when you make these two characters, right, and you have them be the antagonists, and they're out to kill Itadori, it's like, ooh, spooky. They're at the very least, I don't think they're antagonists forever. Maybe the Kyoto principal, but I don't know about the long-haired guy. I don't sense future antagonist from that guy necessarily. The Kyoto principal, I don't think will ever break good. I feel like he's just gonna be an antagonist for most of the series. Maybe he'll turn good at the tail end, but I kind of doubt it. But yeah, like him, I kind of sense antagonist vibe from. The long-haired guy, not as much. But I do think for this arc, they are the current main antagonists of this particular arc. And I think what makes them compelling is that, yeah, you get it, right? Again, like I said, I understand from their point of view why they think what they're doing is correct. But like most villains, I can understand, but absolutely not agree. You know what I mean? And like want to see that stopped. So when Toto's like, screw this, idle time, I was like, yes, absolute king. Absolute king. I love this man. I love this man. Toto is the I titled my one video, "We have no choice but to stan Toto." And y'all know that I hate the word stan, but oh my god. this man is a king. I love Toto so much. What an absolute Chad. What an alpha. You know what I mean? This man's great. I love Toto. I love that he sticks it to the principle. Hell yes, Toto. More of that, please. I guess the last thing I'll quickly address, or at least kind of gloss over, is the actual exchange event itself. I'm only kind of glossing over it because it's not really pertinent to this episode, more so next week's episode. But I figured since if I didn't mention it, people are gonna ask, like, what do you think about the event? So may as well tell you right now. So yeah, like, interesting. Right, like, so the exchange event is basically going to be held over 2 days, and the first day is like a group battle. So I'm actually kind of curious and excited for the day after, because I think the day after is going to be like one-on-one battles, and that I want to see. But the group battle is okay, I can't recall my man's name right now, and I feel bad about it. But the principal for our school, right, the Tokyo principal, is voiced by Kiryu Kazuma from Yakuza, and hearing him say "wacky cursed spirit exorcism race" in his voice, like it's just very like Kiryu, like everything about the way well, I shouldn't say everything, because it is clear it's a different character, and the actor's so great that he does sort of change his inflection a little bit so that it doesn't sound one-to-one Kiryu, but when he's getting like excited, it does sound like Kiryu. And I'm never gonna get over the fact that he's in the show. I love that. But yeah, like, so he's explaining like the rules, right? Mostly to the audience, where basically the wacky cursed spirit exorcism race is basically this situation where they're going to release this second grade curse spirit into sort of like a designated area, along with some other like third grade and lower spirits just sort of sprinkled in for good measure. And the first team to exercise the second grade spirit wins. But if nobody exercises it by the time the sun falls, it's whoever exercised the most curses wins. Like, so even if you don't get the second grade curse, if you exercise the other curses on the way, that still counts as points. This kind of reminded me of Quidditch a little bit. It's not like 1-to-1, right? Because like if you catch the snitch, like you stop the game, but you don't necessarily win unless you get because you get 100 points for catching the snitch, but if the other team is ahead by 100 points, you just stop the game. You don't necessarily win. So, but like in this situation, like exercising the second grade would not only stop the game, but it would also or the race, but it would also make you win. So it doesn't matter if you're like exercising curses on the side. If the other team gets the second grade curse, that's it. But I do think it's probably going to be a good idea to have like 1 or 2 members of the team like exercising spirits along the way, as like the other 3 like go after the second grade. That would be the way that I would play it if I was like tactician in this. Like it's like, okay, you 2 get the second grade curses, because if the other 3 can't catch and exercise the second grade, they can at least maybe try to stop the other team from exercising it. And then if you guys are exercising curses on the side, you might win that way. That said, I don't think that any of that is going to matter, because at the end of the day, there are no other rules, which means that you're allowed to like sabotage the other team. And since we were already told that the principal wants to kill Itadori, that is probably going to be the Kyoto school's actual focus. Not Todo, because he's a good man, so he's not really going to be focused on that. But I do think he's going to be helping them fight Itadori, because he's probably going to want to fight Itadori. But I don't think he's necessarily going to want to kill him, but I do think the other Kyoto students are probably going to want to. I don't necessarily think anybody else wants to kill Itadori outside of the dude with the long hair. So I think that's going to be the main focus of next week. And again, the PV shows like a straight up fight, so it's going to be interesting. With that said, though, everybody, that is going to wrap up today's video here, so I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to boop that up snoot, share if you care, leave a comment down below, and of course, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, set notifications to all, and let all of AniTube know that you're here. And of course, before we go, as always, I want to give a big thank you to the good folks in the T Squadron. Look at these beautiful people. Look at all these beautiful names, and hey, if you would like to join these beautiful people, there are 2 ways to do so. The first is by hitting that Patreon link in the description, and the second is by hitting that join button right beside the sub button to get a badge next to your name, some emotes to spam in the comments, and of course your name scrolling past the screen here. So if that sounds cool to you, go ahead and hit that join button or check out the Patreon link. Either way, super appreciated. And with that said, everybody, that is it for me. So until next time, you stay classy, AniTube, and you wash your dang hands.